What's happening, guys? Nate here. Today we're talking about 3 tips that are going to improve your topspin and your kick serve. All right, so to differentiate, the first few tips will help really get that topspin serve where you're hitting up, and then we'll get a little bit more advanced to where we're getting the ball to kick. And so what differentiates the two? Well, topspin is important as we start to develop in the game. You know, we start working beyond that intermediate level because it's going to give us a better margin for error on the serve. It's going to have higher net clearance. It's going to be safer, but it's also going to give us we're going to win the battle of positioning, meaning if a good topspin serve pushes your opponent back, you've won the battle of positioning. Now the kick serve, after the bounce, the ball should be moving, and this affects your opponent's strike zone. We don't want the opponent returning with the ball consistently in the same strike zone. We want them guessing and trying to adjust the ball as it kicks out of their strike zone. So the first tip that we're going to talk about, it's actually a bonus because I'm going to show you 2 things here, is how to find the contact with the toss, right? So we know, we've talked about this in a lot of videos. You've probably watched it in other videos. Don't go anywhere, I promise this will be brief if you have. But we can get the ball to the kick serve, to the racket, and that's how you want to be thinking, is that you want to get the ball to the racket where you want to make contact by either tossing out into the court and letting it list above your head or slightly behind you, or tossing parallel. And getting the ball parallel does the same thing, tends to help when you're looking for a kick serve more so than the topspin. This orientation I prefer, but it does make it difficult on the flat serve, right? So play between the two. But most importantly is exactly what we were just talking about, of getting the toss back to the racket. I want to feel the strings working up the ball. And that's what a kick serve is the ball is going up, you want to let it drop a little bit, and then as it drops, your racket is working up. So a great way to practice this is get the ball behind you and then focus on rolling the ball up and down on the strings. And from here you can practice getting the ball using momentum by using your leg drive. So I'm pushing with the legs and I'm pushing off the strings. And when you feel competent with this, when you start feeling this, feeling more naturally, like, that's the way the topspin is working on the ball, you can start progressing to actually hitting the ball. And on this particular drill, what I want you to do is actually hold your contact. This is going to be hard. I know it doesn't seem hard, but everyone that I've ever worked with, they want to swing. And what I want you to do is when you get the toss, focus on holding the racket up right at contact, up nice and high. And what this is teaching you is to work through extension, and that you're actually making contact under the ball and then allowing the arm to go up. If you swing through and you do this too fast, you're going to end up getting on top or the side. You're not going to truly get under it. So hold that contact and aim up nice and high for your target. The second tip is about the orientation of your body at contact. Now on your flat serve and most serves, as we're working through contact, we're going out in the direction of the shot. So on a flat serve, I'm going to make sure that I follow the ball out to the target, and my orientation of my body is going to be directly behind the ball, as if I'm tethered to it. The kick serve works a little bit different. So does the topspin serve. We really want to make sure we get this early on. Although I'm tossing back behind me as I'm working up to the ball, I want my path, the swing path of the racket, to be more parallel with the baseline, not going inside the baseline outside of the gate. So what that means is that I've got to keep my body sideways longer. As I'm working through the serve, I really want to make sure that my body is sideways so that I can keep that swing path more parallel to the baseline. All right, and the last tip, and maybe my favorite because it's one that you can use when you're actually competing. All of this is very hard to think about, keeping the body sideways, contact, all that good stuff when you're competing, right? Because you're in the moment. But thinking about what your elbow is doing at the finish is something you can absolutely focus on, and it'll influence the serve. It'll help that topspin serve turn into a kicker. You'll see footage of Ryan Charles, and in another video, which we'll link, we talked about these tips that he used to develop such a massive kick serve. D1 player, played at George Mason, has a huge, huge kicker, and this was his go-to tip when he was struggling with his kicker or trying to get it back on course throughout the match. And what this does, this is the Pete Sampras finish, right? But by holding and finishing here, you make sure that your path of the racket isn't going out to the court, but that you're pronating out and then the elbow staying up. It also helps influence that circular path to the ball. So that circular path, what I'm talking about is as you're working up to the ball, you really want to make sure you're working in this circular path, and holding the elbow, make sure that you do that. All right, so make sure you hold that elbow at the finish to hit that big kicker. All right, guys, those are my top 3 tips to get that topspin serve to turn into the kicker. Get out on the court, give them a go, apply. Spend some time with it, though. Rome wasn't built in a day, but I don't want to say I guarantee, but I am very, very confident that one of these tips will help you see the transformation from that topspin serve into a kick serve. Leave me some feedback. Let me know in the comments section. Share the video with somebody that you think it may help. And if you want to check out Play Your Court for free, what do we do? Kenny, what do we do at Play Your Court?
Hit like, share, subscribe.
We'll do that too. We'll do that too. But at Play Your Court, such enthusiasm. But at Play Your Court, we help you find players of even matched ability, and we also have a lesson service. I should just stop at like, subscribe. I just kept droning on. See you guys next time. Bye.